We just got a brand new freezer for our new house, and I wanted to kind of talk about some of the things that I store in the freezer and how it ends up saving me money on groceries. If you're just meeting me, my name is Amy Cross, and this is the Cross Legacy, where I teach you how I spend $135 per person on groceries, and we're able to have food security in our house and a variety of meals. We are empty nesters, so there's just two of us here, so our grocery budget is $270 per month. We just moved into this house and we left our old freezer at the old house, knowing that we wanted a brand new freezer when we moved here into the new house, because it had to go down these very steep stairs to go to our basement, and we wanted professionals to do that. And I didn't take a picture of the professionals moving the freezer down there, but I did take a picture of the very steep stairs. So even that first grocery haul moving into the new house, I was being very careful on what I was buying to stay in our grocery budget, and also making sure that I could build up some of our freezer meals for fall and winter time and get our freezer restocked. We did bring a chest freezer over with us that is full of a half beef that I also bought using that same grocery budget. And we have videos for that on this channel if you have questions about buying beef from a farmer. Now, I will say that I am only 5'1½", and I would probably never buy a chest freezer again unless it was for something like putting a half a beef in. But I much rather have a stand-up freezer where I can reach everything and not fall on my head. We have videos for both chest freezers and the stand-up freezer and how I organize them from our old house, but this is to showcase our brand new freezer. So one of the things that I really looked for when I went grocery shopping and sticking to my grocery budget was to start batch cooking meals again, so I have easy proteins that I can be pulling out of the freezer. So I do want to cook or throw meals together and don't want to get takeout. One of the very first meals that I made when we moved into the house was making some taco meat. So I made enough for dinner that night, and then I have 2 more glass containers that were in the freezer of taco meat that are all ready to go for other nights. And we just filmed a video on this. This is the chicken enchiladas. This is a whole container that would be good for us for dinner since we are empty nesters. This is a perfect size for us. But I used 3 pounds of chicken breasts, which was 4 large chicken breasts, and I made 18 enchiladas. If that video isn't already on the channel, it's going to be up very soon. I never know which way things are going to get edited and what order they're going to get put up, but we just made these enchiladas today. When we get down to the freezer, I'll show you also how I'm flash freezing them for a few hours before they go into another container. I know in the coming days, I want to cook one of these whole chickens and then make some chicken stock, because we are completely out of chicken stock in the freezer. That was something that I had to make sure that I used up before we did the move, because it wouldn't have traveled very well. And when I did my September grocery haul, I got a really large pork loin that was like $21. I ended up cutting that up and using some of it for pork chops, and then the rest I put in this large gallon size bag that I'm going to end up making multiple meals of pulled pork, and I have tons of buns that I can use up with that. So after we have the pulled pork and have it for one meal, then I will be dividing it into portions that are dinner size for us and putting that back into the freezer, so we will have many meals out of this one pork loin. And I do have half of a beef in our chest freezer, so I pulled out some chuck roast just to talk about it. We normally have a chuck roast for dinner, and then I'll slice up any of the extras, and we'll use that anywhere from fajitas to French dips. I do have 1 styrofoam container of sausage here. This is perfect for our acorn stuffed sausage recipe, but know when you're buying anything in these styrofoam containers and putting them in the freezer, they're only going to last for about 3 months. If you want it to last longer than that, if you're buying things on sale, you might want to put it in a freezer safe container first. I think seasonal rotation of your freezers is really important. It seems like oftentimes our meals that we're making during the fall and winter land in one category, and then we're eating different things in the spring and summertime. During the fall, I'm trying to make sure also I'm using up anything that's kind of a summertime thing that I might not want to set it in my freezer for the next 6 months. So that's why we had some hamburger buns, and I want to make sure that we're using those up. So I planned ahead to get the pulled pork, and we can use those hamburger buns up. But it seemed like hot dog buns used to be the thing that always got left in our freezer over winter and got thrown away. I get these flat pita breads at Costco really often. I call them gyros half the time. We're making gyros with them, but I also use them for different wraps and personal sized pizzas, and they don't stick together in the freezer, so I'm able to just pull out 2 in the afternoon and then be able to make dinner with them. It's harvest season right now, and I was able to get 25 pounds of tomatoes for $18. And since I don't have a ton of time just yet to process all these tomatoes, I just washed them and cored them and put them in the freezer so I will have them for later. My husband is not a big fan of broccoli, so I normally get frozen broccoli instead of fresh broccoli, and that way we can make sure that we use it up. But I do like having a basement, pantry, freezer, garage freezer. I do like having an extra freezer that I'm able to buy things like this and we can use them when we need it. And in the fall, especially closer to the holidays, is the best time all year long to get butter. So if you have extra room in your freezer for butter and it goes on sale, it's a great time to stock up. I also normally have an extra block or 2 of cheese in the freezer. This is one of our staples that we have in our house that we use for multiple meals. And speaking of cheese, this was a huge block. I think it was a 5-pound block of mozzarella cheese that I ended up slicing into cubes, and that way I can defrost it a little bit and then shred it for those personal size pizzas that I was talking about. It's actually easier to shred a little bit if you just have it half defrosted and it's still a little bit frozen. So if you have room for a freezer at your house or in your garage, it is a really good investment where you can buy these larger bulk things. But as I'm making some of the meals for batch cooking them, I will also teach you tips on how to flatten them and make them fit into your kitchen freezer also. If you want more meal ideas, make sure that you're hitting subscribe. We put out a new video every 2 weeks that shows all of the meals that we have been making in the last 2 weeks, and that is a great series to follow.